Hi, Matt. I just wanted to provide some feedback on Project 3, where you were asked to um, write a program that asks the user to enter in a city name and then asks the user to enter in a total sales amount, and then you're going to calculate the tax amount on that sales. So when I run your code, it looks really nice, actually. It's formatted very well, so the output looks great. Where there are a couple of things that I wanted to provide feedback on. Number one is on input. So when I say input, rather than doing this, right, assigning a value of, for in this example, Grand Island, and putting it in this city, what you declared as a constant here, instead of doing it that way, you should have the user interaction where the user is asked to enter in a value. This way they can enter in whatever that value they want. The other thing I wanted to point out is the use of constants. So a constant is something that doesn't run while your program, or doesn't change while your program is running. So a good example is a tax rate. Those don't typically change very often. But things like the city name, every time you run your code, you're going to change that value. And every time you calculate, you're going to change these values, right? So the result of a calculation should not be a constant. It should just be a regular variable. So this should be removed here. This should be removed here. The last thing I want to point out here is this standard library, std::. There's no need for that in any of these instances, right? For strings, for couts, for cins, none of that. If you put in the statement using namespace standard, that eliminates the need for all of this. And that is the more common method at this point. But I want to go back to user input and explain what I mean here. So strings are a little different than doubles. There are a couple examples in your book that you can use. The first one is just on integers and doubles. And that's this example right here. Whoops, this one here, section 3.1 of your book. There is a program 3-1 that shows you how you would input integers. That's this statement here. So where cout sends this string out to the console, right? It sends the string into this direction, with the direction which arrows are pointing. Cin is going to send data the direction that arrows are pointing. It's going to take something from the console and it's going to write it to this area in memory, length. Okay, so that's an example for integers and doubles. They work the exact same way. And then also notice how they declared their variables for this length, width, and area. They declared them as integers, not as constants. Again, a constant should be something like a tax rate value, that doesn't change. Or if you were trying to store the value for the total number of states, the total number of states is 50, that's never going to change. So, that would be a good constant if you're using it elsewhere. On strings are a little different. They are in section, let's see if I think I just went right past them, right here, working with characters and strings. So when you're working with strings, you could use the cin, but it won't read spaces. So if you put in something like grand space island, it'll only read grand, and that causes a problem. So what you should be doing instead is using this statement. Right? Rather than a traditional cin, where the cin, I think there's one right up here, a traditional cin will go cin into the name variable. This works fine, the city variable. This would work fine if you had a city named Sanborn. There's no space. But if you have a space, it'll only read the first part. And so that causes a problem most of the time when you're working with strings. So instead, you should put in getLine, cin, that's the operation it's performing, and then comma, the variable name where you want to write the data to. So if I go back to your code, here, instead of doing it this way, you should put an output statement out there that tells the user what you want. So, say enter city, okay, something like that, and then read the city. And to read the city, it's that getLine function. So it's getLine, because you're getting an entire line, The first thing that goes inside the parentheses is the CN, because the CN is the task it's performing. That's console in. When you say console, it's the little run window that, that you'll see when you run your code. Then the next part of this is the variable name. So we have to declare a variable for city. And I will do that in just a moment. I'm just going to finish this statement here. Okay, and now when you run your code, you're going to see this statement display first, and then here you're just going to see a flashing cursor. It's waiting for you to put something into the run window. It's going to take whatever you put in the run window and store it in a variable called city. So right up here, in order for this to work properly, I would just need this. And I'll show you what I mean. Oops, what did I do? I think okay, I just got rid of constant in front of all of those, and I just want to, I need to declare this variable. So let me just do this up here. Where did I put city? I don't know if it's going to like this whole standard library thing. Oh, I guess it's okay. All right, so now you'll notice the flashing cursor. It's waiting for you to do something, right? This is the console window. So if I put in Grand Island here and press enter, it accepts that value and now displays it here, right? So let's go back and look at that. Here's your C out of city. Okay, so that's what I was looking for here. Now we need one more thing, and that would be the sales before tax amount, the C in there as well.